I'm the chairman and CEO of Telit IoT Platforms. Many of you may know us in Boca as ILS Technology. We carried that brand and name for about 15 years, and we changed it last Tuesday. So if I make a mistake, I'm sorry. So I'm going to start with, I don't want to call it a shameless plug, but I do want to tell you a little bit about what we do. And I can explain IoT best through sort of the context of what we do. I've been in Boca Raton for, 30 years. I've had one zip code and basically been involved in 5 companies. So I'm either a sucker for the weather, or I've built a lot of friends and relationships down here, both personally and professionally. So love Boca Raton, and I got down here, and our company got down here basically from IBM. I say that our company is a 15-year-old company with a 30-year history. We acquired assets out of IBM in 2000. Lenny? We turned into the ILS company at that point in time. We continued to build out those assets. And then in 2013, we were acquired by Telit. Telit's a publicly traded company out of the UK as its headquarters, but we have a very nice global footprint. And then finally, today we've rebranded. We talk about the Internet of Things made plug and play, and we talk about Telit end-to-end. From a Telit point of view, since this is a new company here for South Florida, we do, like I said, have a global presence. We've got 8 design centers globally, one of which is here now in Boca Raton. About 5,000 IoT customers plus, and we'll talk about a few of their use cases. It's kind of neat when you think about what IoT really is up to. I'd say we probably have about 850 employees today. The chart's a little backdated. We're going to hire 30 more in Boca Raton in the next probably 9 months as well. So if you're looking and you're interested in IoT, come and see us. And it's and every day is a fun day. If you're bored to tears in the IoT space, you are the most ADD person on the planet. Next slide. So Telit makes IoT modules. And when I talk about IoT modules, just to give people a perspective, think about it as a cell phone on a chip. So we do about 20 to 24 million of these a year, about a 30% CAGR. And growing like crazy. We build these around the world in a couple of different manufacturing locations. So you gotta, for the most part, instrument the thing you're connecting. And this is sort of the physical method that Telit does. You know, we support wired, wireless, so we support all modes, but we have intellectual property in basically connecting things with these modules. So smart meters, smart cars, those kind of things that have cellular radios in them, that's what we do. I don't think I need to talk about data plans in IoT connectivity. So we do connectivity management. You can connect your stuff with our services. And then, of course, we have this thing called IoT Platforms. And that's basically what we do here in Boca Raton. It's the IT layer. It's how do we manage the information coming off that thing and turn it into something valuable and actually make some sort of business decision, save money, make money, kind of value prop there. Next one. A platform is not a cloud service in a database in the sky. It's a lot more than that. We support the maker community, and I know we've got some makers here in Boca, people that are making things and getting into businesses that are IoT based. So we have lots of ways to onboard. So think of a platform as allowing new things to be connected into the network. So whether it's open standards, whether it's those modules I talked about with our technology inside, whether it's asset gateways from companies like Cisco or Intel, or there's quite a few little gateway router companies that are out there to help bring things along, and then other new technologies like some of these low power unlicensed technologies that are really allowing multitudes of connected things to exist. We're doing a rollout in Belgium with 1 million unlicensed connected things, which is pretty neat. It's allowing a lot of new business models to take place. And then on the right side of the chart, how do you use the information? we deal with a lot of customers that are enterprise customers. They want to figure out how to make better business decisions, how to operate their companies faster, better. So they're taking information from things, whether it's a connected smart car, they want to know that you need an oil change, and they want to somehow get that information to the dealer and somehow get you an email. Those are big IT systems in the back end that are doing that. So you don't want to create a network of connected things and have it sort of an island. You need to make sure that it integrates really neatly into the IT infrastructure that enterprises use. So that's a big part of what a platform is. And then everybody loves dashboards. Everybody loves, web apps. So you got to make sure you service that. But not many companies run their entire business on a web app or on a dashboard. There's usually some big system in the back end that you're connected to. And then, of course, we have partners with companies like Google and SAP, different cloud service companies that do some cool stuff as well. Good. You just hit. Boom, boom. And it's about all kinds of verticals. You can't find a vertical, really, that IoT is not participating in. Everybody's talking about smart health, home monitoring, insurance, Flo with her snapshot discount, that's IoT. Smart meters, whether they're FP&L meters, whether they're water meters. There's all kinds of use cases. Intelligent cars, GM OnStar. So you're hard pressed. Shake Shack, anybody eating at Shake Shack? Right here in Glades? Smart oil management, powered by Telit, and one of our customers. Restaurant technologies, basically making sure that oil for those French fries is getting delivered and picked up at the right time. Crazy use cases that most people would not think of, but when you start thinking about what new data will do and how you optimize your business, it's pretty cool. Next one. So what we're really talking about is 50 billion things. And, I talk to people all the time on airplanes or wherever, and, they're like, hey, what do you do? And I tell them IoT, and, a lot of them are like, what does that mean? And I'll say, well, if you talk, text, or type on it, we don't do it. We connect the 50 billion other things. Smart elevators, smart meters, smart unconnected with people kind of things. That's where our technology lives and breathes. So next thing is, this used to be terribly hard. IoT and M2M used to be littered with failed science projects because you have the domain expertise of the thing. So let's say you're an elevator maker. You got to know a lot about an elevator. Okay, well, you probably weren't a communications company. Now you need to know a lot about communications. You're probably not a cloud IT company, so you need to know a lot about cloud and IT. You're probably, you go down that stack of different disparate technologies that you need for IoT, and it's kind of a big problem. And that's why some of the earliest adopters of IoT were companies like General Motors or Federal Express. They were giant companies that could spend a giant amount of money making this stuff work. But it didn't really allow the innovator community or people that might be a resident here at Tech Runway to come and start quick. So what's happening now, the future, is really about making this a much easier system or platform to onboard your devices, create your apps, worry about the business value more than you have to worry about the components and the plumbing. I tell people a lot we're smart plumbers. And then we were actually working with a smart water meter company, and I said, actually, you guys are the smart plumbers. So the next slide, it's about business transformation. Nobody's in Tech Runway to do a cool project. Somebody's in Tech Runway to make a cool project and ultimately make money, transform a business, do something unique. We talk about innovation. That's why we're here. New business models are forming every day. Industries are being revolutionized by connectivity, and there's some great examples. Next slide. We got to make money. Failed science projects happen because there's no economics behind it. You can do it a couple of ways. Shake Shack isn't making money with this. They're actually doing something else called saving money. They're optimizing their supply chain. They're making sure that they're getting the best possible performance, as an example. Or maybe it's just about staying compliant. And a lot of times I'll say you got to make money, save money, or stay out of jail. If you don't have one of those three reasons, you really shouldn't be doing much of anything, in the technology space. There's got to be a business driver. And then when you think about OEM models, predictive maintenance. Think about how you would see something break and then you go fix it. Well, that's sort of really, really in the dark ages now. Now you have alarms and events. You can build predictive maintenance. You can use big data to look at how all the assets are performing, as opposed to maybe the one asset you own, and have someone give you a service that says your performance of your machine, your car, whatever, is degrading. Let's create a business model to sell them predictive services or performance-based services. So that's one example of sort of optimizing a business model. This is one everybody knows. Think about businesses that have been radically transformed. The first one is very overused, power by the hour. American Airlines doesn't buy engines for jet airplanes, nor does Boeing. Basically, American Airlines rents them, and they pay per hour. That means they don't have to fix them, because when they're not flying, GE's very uptight. They want to make sure they're running. So engine repair and depots and things like that are all managed at these big global hubs, not by the airlines themselves, but they're actually managed by like Rolls-Royce and GE. It's optimized. Can you imagine how many engine repairmen you'd have to have if every airline had to have one at every hub? It would be absolutely unaffordable, just revolutionary. Airbnb and Uber, these are huge, huge disruptors to established markets. Hoteling is an established market. Taxiing is a very established market. These are now solutions that are being driven by technology and connectivity and absolutely require no capital investment, for the most part, by these companies. And if you don't use these services, try them. It's pretty incredible. I was in San Francisco looking for a taxi. I had a driver service because I had to go quick to a meeting, and they were late. So I went to my Uber app, and there was like 60 Uber drivers in the SFO airport loop, just waiting for someone to need a ride. No waiting. It's just amazing what happens. Other business models, connected factories. The original connected factory was maybe supply line, EDI kind of services, and that's still there. But factories make things, and things are now connected. And things are connected for a couple of reasons. Very complex things that factories make, like cars, they want to get feedback. They want to understand how that car is performing. But what's really cool, and the next one is, they want to connect to their consumer. Think about a white goods maker like a dishwasher maker. They sell their stuff maybe online, maybe through a big box store, but they do not have a relationship with their consumer. If their white goods is connected, they now know how many loads of laundry someone does, what are the cycles they use, not because they really care about the laundry you use, but they care about how their assets are being used in the market so that they can build better, more economical solutions going forward. And it turns it into different models, usage-based pricing, things like power by the hour, but maybe it's renting a bike in Miami Beach. Maybe it's an e-bike. Maybe it's a Segway. Maybe it's a little car. Who knows? There's all kinds of cool stuff that's happening. I'm going to give two examples that everybody can either realize or recognize. Tenant floor sweepers. You see them in airports, hotels. There's probably about 20 of them on the FAU campus to polish floors and do stuff. Oddly enough, people lose them. They're big, but people lose them. Think about how many maintenance closets are on the FAU campus. There's a lot, and they get displaced. Or there's consumables. They have squeegees and brushes that need to get serviced, or they're battery powered, and they need to ultimately be managed before they break. So this whole idea of predictive maintenance. The next slide talks, and we use partners, SAP's playing in this and some others, but the next slide talks about some of the use cases. So it's usage by machine, machine location, H2O, maintenance cost. They could even get to the point where you don't buy the machine, you just say, I have so many hours of floor to clean. We have one customer in Mexico. They're actually a big company that their founders finally referred to as SAM. They're tracking the fact that the cleaners are actually running at night. They want to just make sure that they're running. Well, then they found out that they were running. Then they wanted to find out that they were actually moving. So it was all about basically workforce management and workforce training, et cetera. So feedback paths are going a lot of ways. The next use case is really cool, and hopefully it makes its way to FAU. We're working with a company through our cooperation with Verizon to create a e-vehicle, tiny, tiny little e-vehicle, ride share or auto share program on college campuses. So parking is really easy on most college campuses, right? What if you had, 10 private spots in front of most of the major destinations in the campus, and you had 100 of these cars, and a student could go up with their ID card, scan a QR code, get the use of the car, and go from the tech runway to their dorm on the other side of campus. And the second it stopped, it's a one-way point-to-point ride. It might cost them $2. Hey, instead of buying a Coke or a pizza slice, I can go there when it's pouring down rain. It stops, you get out, you just leave it. We know where the car is. We know that the person was available to drive the car. We debited $2 from their account. And the good news is it's there for someone else to use. We know the charge of the car. We know when it needs to be maintained, etc. I say we, our customer does. So this is pretty cool. And kind of bringing it even further to home here at FAU, we've had a long, long history of collaborating in the community with FAU. The Engineering East building is instrumented with all our technology. When you see the big panels when you walk in, we donated a lot of technology and some in-kind work, and it was just a lot of fun. And we're so happy that our next speaker, Jason, has decided to come down to Florida and lead this little group called iSense that is actually focused on sensor technology and connectivity. It's basically an M2M IoT center of competence that I believe will become certainly United States renowned and maybe world renowned. We're doing this kind of in-kind research in technology development with universities today with 2 universities in the world. One of them is IIT Delhi. If you can't get into IIT Delhi, you try to apply to MIT. It's probably the predominant university, one of the most predominant universities in the world, and FAU. FAU was chosen because of that darn zip code problem I mentioned at the beginning of the speech. So with that, we just made an announcement yesterday about a big in-kind gift to support iSense.